All right, let's talk a little bit about something I like to call end-stage veganism. Now, is that something that really exists, or is it something I've made up? Well, that's up for you to decide. But we often see the typical, often fruitarian that kind of ends up like that, kind of very horrible state, and we use that as kind of a way to say this is why you shouldn't do a vegan diet. And certainly, no one wants that outcome. In fact, many vegans will criticize those people for doing what is obviously a very poor nutritionally based diet, which is basically all fruit, which is going to certainly lead into significant problems. So we have these kind of kooky wacko people there that's easy to point to and easy to make fun of and say that's end-stage veganism. But I think there's something beyond that, because many people, in fact most people that do a vegan diet, do not end up looking like that or pursuing the fruitarian diet. But despite that, we still see a tremendous number of vegans that end up having to quit for health reasons. And I've seen that in the Facebook group we created called the Restoration Health Vegan Recovery Group, where we have now thousands of ex-vegans there, all sharing their stories. The vast majority of them were not fruitarians. The vast majority of them were doing the quote-unquote whole food plant-based diet, using appropriate supplementation, listening to a number of the physicians out there, and yet despite that, despite their best efforts and trying to cobble together a nutritional plan, many of them failed, okay? What often is not talked about in the vegan community is it's just there are many people that just cannot long-term thrive on a vegan diet, and many of them indeed do develop nutritional deficiencies, which end up resulting in a number of health issues. That also coupled with the fact that also many of them end up developing a number of digestive issues and often autoimmune diseases. And those things probably almost certainly have to do with the diet, okay? A vegan diet can be, if it's well designed, better than a standard American junk food diet. And many people, if they switch from a standard American junk food diet to a vegan diet, will notice a period of improvement. Some of them can do it for many years. In fact, if some of them can supplement well enough, they can even perform athletically, and we've seen some examples of that. However, most of them still are not reaching their genetic potential or their optimum performance levels in the absence of meat. While it's true that many omnivorous diets still end up with nutritional deficiencies, things like B12, iron, zinc, and some of these other things, magnesium in particular, are occurring, vegans tend to have that at greater and greater levels of incidence, and that's certainly true in the adults and also scarily enough in the children. So one of the concerns is we know that a plant-rich diet, in addition to not being as well absorbed and often not as well tolerated as a meat-based diet, will result in difficulties in absorbing certain nutrients. We know things like oxalates, phytic acid, fiber even, and other anti-nutrients will bind up a number of different minerals, particularly things like calcium, zinc, iron, copper. Those things are bound up in the fiber and competed with against the oxalates. So those things drive up the requirements, and often if you don't get enough in your diet, you have to eat plenty of extra food or supplement, you'll end up with a deficiency. We see that the nutritional requirements on a carbohydrate-based diet, whether it's omnivorous or plant-based, may also result in higher vitamin, mineral, nutritional requirements. Again, driving up the demand, which may not be met by the diet. And that's why a meat-based diet, one that is either purely carnivorous or heavily carnivorous, is often much superior. And that's why we see so many vegans that are leaving now in droves, showing that they improve their health dramatically when they start to include those nutrients back in their diet. And I think it's as simple as that. So anyway, will a carnivorous diet protect you from disease and prevent you from dying? That's hard to say, and we'll never be able to know that for sure. The studies, that's just impossible to do those studies. But what we can say is if you're on a carnivorous diet, you will not be subjected to, and you will not succumb to the ills of ESV, or end-stage veganism. Okay, guys, if you are a vegan looking at making a change and you want a place to go which is supportive and is not going to attack you, go to the Restoration Health Vegan Recovery Group. I made that group intentionally with that in mind. There is no attacking of vegans. There's no making fun of vegans. It's just about how to get you guys healthy again, to how to deal with some of the ethical issues you may be dealing with, how to reintroduce meat into the diet, and you know, just try to help you out. And that's my goal for all people, whether you're a meat eater or not. Okay, check out meatheals.com. If you haven't already submitted your story to meatheals.com, please do so. Check out sean-baker.com. Check out the World Carnivore Tribe, as we now pass 27,000 people and keep growing. And we grow by hundreds every day. All right, check out the links below. Check out the subscribe button. Like it if you want. Vegans, continue to submit your comments. It's always good for entertainment. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.